Hi, this is Emily the Audi Nerd, and tonight we're going to be taking a look at a 2022 Audi e-tron Sportback. And so the e-tron Sportback is the slope-back design of the regular e-tron. If we come a little bit this way, I'm going to start on the back for this vehicle just to show you what it looks like. As you can see, the total slope back with no roof rails, as all the Sportback vehicles don't come with roof rails. It's got this sleek design, and I love this one because it's a convenience package, which means it comes with the black optics package. So you've got all the black trim surrounds and everything. All along here is all black. It gives it a really sleek look. Daytona gray with black optics. It's truly a very classy Audi look. So let's head back to the front. We'll start with the other exterior designs of the SLine package. So as I mentioned, the e-tron Sportback has the SLine package, and this SLine package, which is really easy to see by the SLine badging right here on the grille. The SLine package is standard on all e-tron Sportbacks, so it gets a little bit more aggressive here in the front with these side vents that go all the way through to the wheels with help with drag coefficient and low rolling resistance. Coming along the front, you can see it's really aggressive. You got these big vents along here to push through to the fan, which when we go actually underneath the car, so you can see the view of the battery, we'll show you where the fan is. The e-tron Sportback and the e-tron both come jam-packed with tons of safety features standard. One thing in particular is the front camera, which is right here. You can see it gives it the full 360 surround view, which I'll demonstrate on the interior. The other thing I like, which you can see up close, is these rings and badges where they are actually the matte silver design. Only the e-tron vehicles get the matte silver on the rings. And then you've got your 4 sensors in the front, 1, 2, 3, 4, so you can have proximity view when you're parking and get anywhere near close. Now before we move on to the rest of the vehicle, the e-tron Sportback is one of the few vehicles that comes with the animation for the headlights. As you can see here, it's got this full design, but something when you come a little closer, you can see there's actually the 3D design inside the headlight. Something small, yet it's one of those touches that is really cool on the Audis. Coming a little bit this way, I'll show you the wheels. Now this vehicle has the base wheels as it is a convenience package premium. Something that's unique to the e-trons themselves is the smaller the wheels, the further the range. In the 2019 models, we found that the Prestige with the larger wheels actually had a couple less miles of range, because something in particular is the larger wheels are a little bit heavier, and they have come with usually a stickier tire. So you think for an e-tron, an electric vehicle, you want it to be really low rolling resistance, better drag coefficient. Those things kind of affect it a little bit, so it's interesting to see the small things that actually make a big difference. All of the e-trons come with power door handles. So if you see, it's not actually mechanical. Now listen real close here. You see how it just barely came out and how there's that click? It's not mechanical where you actually have to pull it out and there's a lever. The other cool thing with the e-tron that this one was optioned is it has beam rings in all 4 doors. And these beam rings in particular have the e-tron logo. So you can see it's got in the front door up here, and then coming a little bit this way, you can see it right back here in the back door. So now I'm going to show you how I fit in the back of the e-tron Sportback. As we know, it's the slope back, so there's ever so slightly less room in the back seat. However, I'll show you here, the front seat here has been adjusted for my husband, who's a little bit over 6 feet, and I am 5'5 3/4", and I have plenty of legroom. And if you come in a little closer, you can actually see how the headliner has been sculpted out to allow for more headroom here in the back seat. This vehicle is optioned with the rear side airbags, so it does have a couple additional features that come with that. First of all, you get the illuminated seatbelt buckles. This is one of my favorite features that Audi does. They debuted this first on the A8, and I love this because then even in the dark, you know exactly where to put your seatbelt buckle in. The other cool thing about the back seat is you don't have to go without screens back here. There's not, some toggle buttons. There's the full climate control panel screen, which is fully functional back here. We can adjust the driver rear and the passenger rear independently, or you can have them synced. The e-tron Sportback also has the kick to release power tailgate, so kick right here, back up, and just like that, it opens up for you, and as you saw those lights flash, these taillights are full LED taillights. Again, a really cool feature that's standard on the e-tron Sportback. Now coming in a little bit this way, you can get a really good look at the trunk. So we've got the privacy screen up here and back here, which also pulls out if you need more room, so pulling it out right here, and then it lays down back here if you wanted to store it. This gives you a great view of the LED lights back here in the trunk, something that not a lot of manufacturers do, but this way you can always have access to it and see what's in it, even if you're out. Let's say you're out in the city at night, you want to be able to see what's in your trunk. Underneath here, something that's unique to e-tron vehicles, when you pull this up, there's actually a little bit of storage underneath here. So backing up from that, underneath this mat, there's also these hooks, which you can use for things like the cargo net, or if you want to tie down anything in particular. Keeps it super versatile, so you can store tons of stuff back here. One thing I will address is, yes, this is the Sportback, so it has ever so slightly less storage in this one. I will be doing a video of head-to-head of the regular e-tron versus the e-tron Sportback, and I'll go over in depth the different storage spaces and height and length and width of each one. The e-tron Sportback's rear tailgate is also height adjustable, which I've demonstrated in some of my other videos. Let's say this height was more comfortable for you. You would press and hold here and wait for the little light. And that sound lets you know that it is set that way, so it'll always be set to this height. Let's say you wanted to reset the height. You simply push up evenly back here, all the way up to max height, and then you go back, press and hold, and that lets you know it's been reset. That wraps it up for back here. Now we're going to go take a look underneath the car and actually see what the battery looks like and some of the unique features that are found on e-tron models, and then we'll demonstrate the charging. So let's take a look underneath the e-tron Sportback and take a look at the battery and all of the unique stuff underneath. So starting at the front of the car, you'll notice it is super flat underneath here. Normally on ICE cars, there's usually some sort of indentation along here, so not quite as flat. This is super flat to keep a low rolling resistance and low drag coefficient to allow you to go further with your range. If you come back a little bit this way, you'll see super flat all along here. It even has flat along up here, which is usually open on regular ICE cars. Now let's spin around and I'll show you one of the other unique things underneath here too. So it's not completely flat underneath here. There is this cutout right here where you can see this fan, which is used for the cooling system and the HVAC system inside of the car. Now moving a little bit this way, we'll actually go over here where you can see the full air suspension in the front shock. The e-tron Sportback and the e-tron Quattro both come standard with air ride suspension, allowing for a very quiet ride and effortlessly smooth. So now looking at the heart of the e-tron Sportback, we have the 95 kilowatt hour battery, which is all along here, this whole entire plate. You'll see all of the recessed screws and bolts that allow it in here to keep it really flat in the low drag coefficient underneath. So the battery itself is 7 feet 5 inches long, it is 5 feet 3 inches wide, and it is 13.4 inches tall. The battery is comprised of 26 cells. The cells are about the size of a shoebox. And the cool thing about having a cell-type battery is that let's say one cell goes wrong. Instead of replacing the entire battery, which can be very expensive and not great for the environment, you only have to replace that one cell, which allows you to go longer and keep it for longer. Now moving on to the back side of the car, which we're not done yet, you can see this one, because the e-tron Sportback comes standard with all of the SLine packaging in the exterior, so you'll notice it's got ever so slightly more aggressive back bumper here, but it's still very, very flat, and it connects exactly right here, which comes all the way back here. The rear motor is located right here, underneath here, which is cool because it's right on the axle, which there's not a lot of power loss between the motor itself and the wheels. Now moving on back to the air suspension, the back is where you can see the really big shocks, which are located right there. Now I'm going to demonstrate the max height and the lowest height of the air ride suspension on the e-tron Sportback. Now let's go take an in-depth look at the charging on the e-tron Sportback. So now we're going to look at how to charge your e-tron Sportback. If it is a premium, you'll have one charging door on this side. If it is a premium plus or a prestige, there will be two charging doors, so one on either side. However, all level 3 charging must be done on the driver's side here. So if you come in a little bit closer, I'll show you how to open the door. You can see this little charger icon right here on the black spot. Push this, and then the door will bring down for you. And then for charging on level 1 or level 2, you will simply use this, but for level 3, we'll flip this down. And this is a great point too where I can show the diagram. So pulsating green is charging, fast flashing green, that is when it's on a timer. Solid green means it's fully charged, yellow means there's some sort of problem, red means contact service immediately. So now I'm going to show you how to charge the vehicle with level 1, 2, and 3. So this is what a level 3 public charger will look like. It'll have these big 2 extra prongs down here at the bottom, but now I'll show you how to put it into your e-tron. So make sure that the door is flipped down here, and then we'll insert it. Make sure there's plenty of good grounding, just like that. Put it right in, good to go. We hear it lock, that's good. Then we'll see this white light. The white light is initialization. This can take anywhere from 20 seconds to a full minute. So after that, once it initializes there, it will turn green. Some things to consider for the level 3 charging. You'll find this at public charging stations or Electrify America stations. This is what is considered the fast charging, the fastest way to charge your e-tron. From 5% to 80% is right around 30 minutes, and 0 to 100 is right around 45 minutes to an hour. But as we can see now, it is pulsating, and it's solid green now, so that's how we know this one is fully charged. Now when you're ready to remove your charger, first thing to consider is the vehicle must be unlocked for you to be able to remove the charger. Then you simply press this button here, right on the side, and then you wait, and this light will go away. And you hear it release, and you see the white light. pull straight out, and then just wait just a little bit, and the door will actually close itself, so you don't actually have to close it for you. Gives you proper time, closes back up, easy go. So now that was level 3 charging. However, that's not going to be something that most people do. Most of the time, you'll be doing most of your charging at home. But now where is your home charger located? That is located underneath the hood. So you can see totally what's underneath here. We got tons of other electronic stuff underneath here. These are for your air conditioning and your washer fluids right here with the screen to make sure nothing else goes in there. But underneath here in the actual frunk part with this little compartment with the weather stripping around it to keep it protected in all environments, this is where you'll find your home charger. There's the level 1 attachment for the standard outlet, and then you have your big level 2, which is the NEMA 1450, where it is the 240 volt 50 amp. So now here's how to install the different attachments for level 1 or level 2 to your home charger. And I will warn you, this takes a little bit of finessing. It's taken me a while to get this, so watch closely because I've learned a couple of tips and tricks along the way. So first, remove the cap. The cap's usually pretty stuck, so you kind of got to pull real hard. And then once you've gotten it off, it looks like this. Next, we're going to go over here. We'll set the cap aside, and we'll flip this guy to the back. And once we've flipped it to the back, we're going to look at our charger that goes in the top. Make sure we flip it to the flat side, so the flat side goes down. Then we're going to open all the way. We're going to slide it in, just like that. Once we've gotten to this point where it feels like it can't go anymore, I want you to push it down just a little bit, and you can see it gets a little easier. And it'll clip in, and then bring it all the way up again. And that snaps it all the way in. Then to lock it in place, push all the way down. And you hear the final click. There is the option to install the screw if you want to make that more permanent, but this way you can have it charge on the level 1 or level 2 with easy change out. Now in the interior of the Audi e-tron, I'm going to highlight the things that are different on the e-tron and briefly go over things with the climate control. If you have different questions about those, leave them in the comments and I can make a separate video for you. So first we're going to take a look at the virtual cockpit here in the center of the steering wheel. This is completely customizable and has 3 different options. The first one we're in right now is called the e-tron mode. Then we can go over to sport, which is we've already seen this before. This is pretty common. You can change the dials to big or small. It has the red around it for more of the sport look, or you can have the classic look and it all becomes green, and then over here becomes blue. It's completely customizable, what you can see in the center. Right now we have navigation, we can have different driver's assistance features, or just regular old date and time. You can have your radio, or you can have your connected phone. The other thing I like about it too is you can see anything you want, so you can easily change your radio stations right here on the fly. Moving down to the climate control, a lot of it looks the same for every other vehicle with this type of setup. The only button that's going to be different is the charging button right up here at top. So if you click this button, it actually brings up to the top screen. It'll bring you right into this charging area, which is a good hot way to get into that one. Then the difference here with the e-tron is if you go into the vehicle tab, you can go and you can have charging and efficiency, where you can go in and you can set the charging, you can set your maximum charging level. Right now we have it set to 80%. If you wanted to change that for say a longer trip, or if you needed the more range in the winter, you can plus and minus right here and adjust it to however suits your needs. Moving to the side, you can go in and program your different timers. These timers can also be programmed from the My Audi app, which can be downloaded. When you purchase your new e-tron, please make sure your Audi brand specialist sets this up for you, because it is very, very important in the heat and in the cold to precondition the vehicle before you leave. And what that means is you set the temperature and it gets the battery warmed up and everything good to go before you leave. That way you can increase your range. So clicking in here, you can actually go in and adjust the schedule to however you want it to be. So click into the side, you can select for which days of the week you want it to be. You can set it, have it be every day. You can have it be select days. So right now I have it on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can go to continue, set what time you leave every morning. Let's say I leave at 7 a.m. every morning and it needs to be ready to go. It will be ready to go every single morning, fully charged, good to go. And you can set as many as you want. They're all located right here. Clicking out of that, you can go into Efficiency Assist. It'll tell you what kind of regeneration you have going on, and you can use the paddles that are on the steering wheel. One more unique thing with the e-tron is if you go into Vehicle Data, you can see your full range and your range potential. So if I were to turn off the air conditioning and turn off the heated steering wheel, I could gain about 27 miles of range. Right now we have a total of 251 miles. If we were to go into range mode, it'll actually detect and it'll turn off all the extra things and give a full range potential of 0 miles, giving you the absolute most range for 276 miles on this full charge on the brand new e-tron Sportback. The full 360 surround camera can be easily accessed using this button right here. Moving up to the top, you can see the full 360 view and even the 3D surround on the camera. The e-tron shifter is slightly different from other vehicles, however, it does have the same type of concept. You have a hand rest here, and then you would simply put your finger right here up top to push it forward or back. So if you want to go drive, pull back. As you can see, the drive illuminates. If you want to go in reverse, push up. and then for park is the P button on the side. Since this is an e-tron vehicle, the parking brake will be engaged if you're on any sort of incline. To pull up to engage it if you choose, push down to disengage it. You can put it in reverse or drive and give it just a little bit of the gas and it will disengage it for you. Now before I hop out of the e-tron, there's a couple of things I wanted to highlight because remember, this is the base model. This one has the full auto headlights right up here, as you can see, and you can turn them on, auto, side markers, or fully off. Then going all the way across, you can see this real wood inlays all the way across the entire dashboard. I love looking at it with the screens off so you can see how sleek the total design is in here. The other features that come standard are the luxury features like this contrast stitching, which pairs so nicely with the silver accents all the way around. Now this weird awkward space is up here where you may be wondering what this is. In Europe, these side mirrors, which you'll see right there, are actually digital and this becomes a screen. So that is why your seat memory is actually located down here. You have two different sets for the seat memory, so you can have driver 1 and driver 2 programmed. Thanks for watching my video on the e-tron Sportback. I had a lot of fun making this for you. If you have any other questions about this vehicle or other vehicles you'd like to see in future videos, please leave those for me in the comments. Thanks for watching.